I'm coming, my good people. I'm coming. Episode 32. Episode 32 and 33. This is going to be part 1. Yes. I can't wait till my subscribers come up, man. So that way I can have people really edit this stuff. Because I'm going to come back to it. I'm just going to knock out my first 100. And we're going to get back to it. What's good, Josh? Your boy Brian Arkey, a.k.a. Cappuccino, the Don, as they call me here in these New York City streets. I'm here to deliver my purple pill perspective on this red pill, blue pill stuff. And today, this is the February 16th, 2 days after Valentine's Day. I wanted to save this because I have a lot of experience in this. Like I said, this is the purple pill perspective. I spent my days as the blue pill, spent my years as the red pill. Like I said, I do not want to mislead you, but I am married. I am the inside man, so when I give you or deliver something to you, it is first-hand information. First-hand. I don't claim to have ever gotten it right, but I did have an itch that something wasn't right. Couldn't put my finger on it, and thanks to the Manosphere space and the red pillars and my Mount Rushmore guys like Kevin Samuels, I would prefer to say Kevin Samuels. My guy Black Ram really put the hammer down heavy. Black Ram, Kevin Samuels, Dr. B.O.A. Who else do I got there? Anthony Spade, MTR. I have a couple joints, but I have a lot of experience. You know, it's funny because when I was on my red pill and didn't realize I was on my red pill, I was just doing me. Those women who I really put the red pill hammer on hang around me for decades, which is bananas. And the ones that you really, which is only a couple where I can say that, you know, I played that red pill, just being genuine. Really played my blue pill card. I really got ran over, and it's just so backwards. But I have clarity now. Like I said, I am married, so this is my purple pill perspective. Because you know, I gotta be upfront and honest. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want to get into this stuff. So this is part 1. I'm gonna go through like the first 15 here. This comes off of the Miami Herald. They have 30 subtle signs of a cheating wife. There's another joint out here, 30 physical signs of cheating, but this is on marriage.com. So there's nonetheless, I looked at both of them and they pretty much are the same. It's probably fucking rewritten, you know what these people doing. Anyway, let's go. I'm gonna go back to the Miami Herald, since a lot of the times when your shorty, your girl, decides she wants to go on a girls trip, probably 50% of the time is going to be in Miami, you know, or Jamaica. So going to find them Dexter, St. Jocks, Eddie Murphy used to talk about. So here we are. So I'm going with the Miami Herald because it's the first article I really saw, and everything else that I saw after that kind of backed it up. So I'm going to go with this. So here it is. The first one they got here, she calls you another name in bed. She calls you another name in bed. Now, I've never had that happen. What I have happened was getting into an argument and she calls you another name. I've had that happen. And at that time when it happened, you know, we was kind of early in the game, so I kind of let that slide. I was thinking about it today because I remember that time. It only happened one time, but I remember that day. And I'm pretty sure that my name has been called quite a few times in other relationships. Because a lot of times when you spend some time with somebody and you're close to them and you're used to arguing, calling out that person's name, especially someone who you're used to having back and forth with, it's easy to fly, or easy to slip because you're so emotional. So it slips quite easily. So, but in my case, it's never happened where I was calling another dude's name in bed, but in an argument with my new girl at that time, she did call me another guy's name. Absolutely. So I would imagine for that to happen, whoever the name that she called, she had to be emotionally involved or to be able to let that slip, because at that point when you go emotional, you're kind of on autopilot. And if that's autopilot, then this is in the program. So that's what that was. Number 2, she spends less time with you. Yeah, she's always busy. You're gonna find out coming up down here is a lot of overtime, coming home late, traffic. Yeah. There's no rushing home. Chances are used to be getting home at 5:30. Now it's 6:30, 7:30. Oh, I made a stop at the mall. I had to return this to the mall. The boss had me in there late. All kinds of excuses, but they're pretty slow at getting home at that point. So that's another sign they could be cheating. Let's go on down. I'm on the MiamiHerald.com. This is this year. I know this was this year. Okay. She spends less time with you. There's no weekend stuff. No intimacy and sex. I know about this too. Oh boy. So I've been fairly active since I've been playing around stink figure probably since 10 years old, but probably earlier than that. But no intimacy and no sex. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Now I've gone through this. I will say this. I've been married for 16 years, and I've spent a year in the last 16 years not having sex. Now, I did that for self-development because things weren't right for whatever reason, and there are reasons things weren't right. And before, and I say this, and you'll probably hear this enough on my channel, is you have to be the change that you want to see first, or if you can't change the people around you, then change the people around you. So in this particular case, a situation had came up, a conversation, and it was pretty emotional. It was pretty deep and pretty revealing, which made me feel a certain way. So I backed off. I backed up. I normally, if for nothing else, I would make sure that I have relations so that way there is no space, there is no regenerating, or there is no like this. I want to keep my territory marked. But in this case, in this conversation, it was pretty emotional and pretty deep. I backed off, and before you know it, a week turned into a month turned into 2 months, a month turned into 6 months, and then it turned into a year. And in that year, I had the most progress in my life. Money, business, all of that. Personal development, I had the most progress. So if my partner at that time, if they were cheating, I really didn't lose anything. To be honest with you, I had a cleansing that happened, and I gained a lot. I gained a lot in territory at that time. But that doesn't negate, because to my knowledge also was that they didn't realize, my partner at the time didn't realize a year had gone by. I did. I knew it yet. Bananas, I know. Lots to be said about that, but I keep track of these things. Fourth thing they got here, she gets mad at you about everything. Absolutely. There's nothing you can say right, nothing you can do right. You're constantly fumbling, tripping. You're not perfect, always complaining. Always got something to say, nothing to laugh about, nothing to joke about. You can't strike up a conversation, no matter what you say, do, will irk her nerves. Absolutely. So that's the fourth sign they have here. Let's go on down. The fifth sign, she guards her phone with her life. Absolutely. Always on her phone, but never calls you. Always texting. The phone is always going off, vibrating, but it's never to you. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. She guards her phone with her life. That's a big deal. What's to say about that? Of course, that's the bloodline to communication. Always on her phone. I personally shut my phone down if the kids don't have it, but I personally shut my phone down. Not that anybody's calling me, but just so there's no interruption. I put it face down so that way, if we're talking, the light, the notifications, this and the third, because it's a distraction. I know whatever on that phone, whatever's going on that phone could wait. So whatever, when I'm with my partner, this is my focus and attention is on that or this. You know what I'm saying? I don't, whatever it is I'm doing, creating, whether it be in the bed, out of bed, in the studio, out of the studio, I don't want to be disrupted. I don't want to be interrupted. So it's just my nature to not be distracted, put it face down and do my thing. 2, she's staying late at work often. Absolutely. You're talking about overtime and then around the holidays, because the holidays, especially around the holidays come around, there's all these Christmas parties, holiday parties, this, that, and the third. And she knows that she's going to be with her family and or with your family. So she's going to make sure that whoever she's dealing with it, and it could be more than one, and chances are it is, that staying late at work is going to happen often, especially around the holidays. And then especially also too, I've come across this where all of a sudden they want to lose weight and then they're going to the gym. From what I get, don't ever let her go to the gym with a trainer, a male trainer. Never. You might as well just wrap it up then. 7, they got here. She's always busy on her phone. We already went through that. Phone is always going off, always busy, always talking. But when you're not with her and you're off at work and you're trying to make the world go around, she never uses that phone to give a call to you, to check in on you. Never that. And if you call her, it's like, what happened? Ain't nothing happened. Just call to say what's up, how we doing, what's the word? It's always, what happened? Crazy. Number 9, Miss Independent. You can't do shit for her. You used to pick her up from work every day. Now all of a sudden she can get home on her own. You used to go shopping with her. Now I can do that on my own. Or me and her friend is going to go shopping together. Or it's it's her and her mother who's going to go do this now. When it used to be y'all. Keep in mind, you're at work, she's at work, so that shopping time is usually where y'all can have your one-on-one time, with or without kids. Now all of a sudden, you used to go together to get the oil changed. Now that's like out the window. Now it's all of a sudden she could do it, she did it. Like I said, the phone calls get less. She doesn't need your help anymore. It is what it is. She's hanging out with her single friends more. Ain't that something, right? Ain't that something? Because what happens too also is that here it is, though she's married, been married for quite some time, she often tells her friends how to handle dudes. Tell single women how they're supposed to be handling people, handling guys, when she herself is married. Kind of boggles the mind. But here it is, she hanging out with her friends more. And like Black Ram said, on a Friday night. That Friday night is a motherfucker, boy. Oh shit, I ain't supposed to curse, right? But Friday night is so if your girl tends to be scheduling a usual Friday night, I would side-eye that. She is dressing seductively. Absolutely. When your girl, especially around you, tends to wear them beige period panties and oversized drawers, and she goes to matching panties and wants to go bra shopping and panty shopping, and the thing starts to match and gets sheared and starts to get bedazzled, getting nice little beads and pearls and diamonds and all that stuff on it, you gotta ask yourself, well, she ain't giving me a dance to, be tantalized by all of this shimmer and shine. What's happening? That could be a sign. The panties start matching. Perfume gets sprayed in places that seems to be a little too, a little too hidden. Like only somebody who is closely attached can pick up the sense when they being a little more intimate. I would question that. She's dressing most of that. She's paying more attention to her appearance. This is a big deal too, because I had a situation, and pay attention to the hairstyle. Hairstyle is a big deal too, because I've noticed that I call it peacocking. In peacocks, they in this case, because this is guys that be peacocking too. They just start wants to be an essential center of attraction and a center of attention, and they start just doing all kinds of things to be noticed. But in this case, peacocks, they ready to mate, they ready to get it in, and they would take their hind feathers and. Well, a woman does that too. I remember back in the day, and this is when I was in office fraternizing and all that, 2 decades and some change ago. Like I said, I couldn't put my finger on it, but what I realized was that my girl at the time, she used to go to work, she used to put her hair in a bun. But then there was a time came along where she would pull her hair back in a ponytail, and the tail would come high. So when she walked, it's like there's this swinging hair, and it reminded me of a peacock. You know what I'm saying? Where, then this is a hands-on manual job. You know what I'm saying? But this is a job full of men. So instead of like if you're about to go and get it in and do some real manual work, you're gonna pull. Like if you look at you look at most women who in the mainstream, especially in the man's space, and this job can be really hands-on regardless of the job. But if it's really a hands-on job, they put the hair up in the bun, put it up, put a hat on, whatever it is, keep it close. But in this case, it was kind of out of place for her to put it up in a ponytail. Not even a ponytail that down here, that ended down here, but up here, so that way it flared out. You know what I mean? Like I said, like a peacock. So, instead of letting the polo, like imagine going to Target, right? And Target got the beige khaki pants, and they got the like a shirt like this, but like the red polo shirt. But there's gonna be a difference. Whereas a woman, if she wears her polo shirt outside her pants, and someone who wears, I never worked at Target, but I'm just saying. Something we all could relate to, but having a beige or tan khaki pants and then having on the red polo shirt, but is the polo shirt hanging outside the pants or is it tucked in the pants to show the shape? You understand what I'm saying? It's these little subtleties that it may be a little spritz of perfume on top of that. So it's these little, or in this case, maybe instead of wearing regular old aloe vera lotion, you're gonna put on that Avon Skin So Soft, have a little scent, maybe a splash of perfume. You know what I mean? So it's the little things that that brings out or that makes them perform like a peacock. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Where normally there's getting dressed for work, and then there's getting dressed for an event at work. So you got to pay attention to these little subtleties. That's 12. Let's see what 13 has. Partying more than usual. Once again, it goes back to that Friday night. Now that Friday night, oh, it's just me and the girls, we're gonna hang out. But then you realize on a Friday night, or maybe even on a Sunday, in New York, they have a lot of day parties, or in Atlanta as well, a lot of day parties, a lot of monthly joints, seasonal joints. She starts to spend more time doing that. You know, I've noticed too, a lot of times, the setup will be maybe the week before, the day before, depending on what day the party's on. They would have, they'll do a family day. So when they go and do, they shit with the girls. I'm sorry, I must have cursed. When they go do their thing with the girls or whoever else is going to be there, they would do something with the family. So that way it's almost as if, well, I did this for y'all, I can go do that. Now you never know what that is, but it kind of makes them feel guilt-free when they go and do that, because they've spent time doing things with you and your little bunch. So a lot of times you see them, and that, you know, they'll do that often to justify the more partying that they're doing. You understand what I'm saying? And then here we go, 14, she doesn't confide in you. Once again, communication shuts down. You really don't know what's going on. She's not going to tell you what's going on. You're not going to get a heads up. You're just going to realize before you know it, hours have gone by and you haven't heard from her. You know what I'm saying? You're going to, you know, when they talk to their best friend or whatever, or whoever the friend is at the time, you're going to find out stuff going on or what's going on, but she won't come to you with that. You know, she's going to tell 100 people before she comes to talk to you about it, and going to get mad at you when you ask about it, and she's going to act like she's told you before. But no, she hasn't told you directly. What's happened is that she's told so many other people, she's never gotten around to telling you, so she's going to assume that because of all the talking she's done with other people that you picked up the conversation, so there's no need for you to even speak to her about it. It's for Tisha. And number 15, before we move on to part 2, she treats you like a ghost. Like I said, no call, no show. That's it. Treat you like a ghost, no call, no show. You're kind of like in the way. You know, you just see the comings and goings, you know, very alpha-like, as they say for a woman. She treats you like a ghost. She has nothing to say. She doesn't call you throughout the day. She doesn't check in. When she's out, she never checks back. She had the time of her life while she's out. The drinking and the smoking and all that bullshit. All that BS is insane. It really is insane. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna check on out of here. I'm gonna go on to part 2. That was 15. And but yeah, let's get on over to part 2. It's your boy Brian Keefe, and I'm out. Peace.